Welcome back, everyone. We're back for the Grand Prix. We're just going to obviously do a full restart of the 36 laps. 36 laps, and unfortunately we had to lose Crossfire Strikes. He said he didn't have time to finish this race, so we have got 19 drivers now. The grid has apparently been done, and the weather has been done. We should have just the first part of the race be rain, and then it will go dry for the rest. Because that was what was going to happen in the first race. So we'll wait and see what happens now. So it looks like it's raining a little bit harder than it was in the first session. So it might start on the Inces. We've got about 15 seconds and still till the start of the formation lap. So we are than it was before. So technically, since the red flag, it has rained a little heavier. Technically, even though it's a whole new session. Mr. BC is now on pole as Crossfire Strikes wasn't able to partake in this race. See them all sorting themselves out on their formation lap. The rain won't be here forever, guys. So we've had 3 drivers be disqualified from the formation lap, and that is the 2 friends, Mr. Basil and Vidic, and Tommy as well in the Red Bull. So that is not good news for those drivers. We're going to see what happens with this rain and how quickly these drivers are going to have to go on the dry tyres. So it does look wetter than it was the previous session, but it will dry up depending on how long it will take to dry up. See the front runners now start to make their way to the grid to form up, and we're just seeing Dazzy make his way out of the young cow. Shugs is going very slow there for some reason. Very odd decision there from the Red Bull driver. Just watching Mr. BC line up on the front row on pole position now, and obviously taking that now by default. I would say Crossfire Strike still got the pole position, but because he's not able to attend now, that moves Mr. BC up to default pole positions. We're just waiting for Dazzy to form up on the grid, actually waiting for a Ferrari of Aiden Bell to form up, and then hopefully we'll be able to get underway with those 5 red lights, and looks like it's going to happen momentarily. Hopefully we can get this underway. This game is really having some issues with glitches at the moment. I'm not sure why that's the case. I don't know if we're just waiting for someone in particular. As we are now getting those lights underway. We've got 4 and 5 red lights And there's a drive-through for Apex. We're away for the Sao Paulo Grand Prix in Super Sunday racing. Apex is now going to have to get a bigger gap as he can get. Mr. BT is run wide through turn one, as well as Bugs Bunny. They make a little bit of contact there, and Stinos is going to try and fight his way through as they go around the Curva de Sol and on to the Retroposta. And we're now coming down towards turn four. Got Bugs weaving on the straight, I think trying to get a little bit of tyre temp, but he does need to be careful with that. Lucas A. Germany going down the inside on the Williams of Anthony, who's now moved down into sixth place. Got a driver tumbling down the order there. Dark Stomper is one, and Warren is looks like he was almost cascading off the track there. We've got a move here for Dazzy going down the inside on the Alpine there, Thibbo Boy, and they're going side by side through turn 8, and looks like the AlphaTauri has come up on top there, or has it? Is that Alpine is going around the outside now and potentially trying to get that move done. We've got Warren in the Haas with his good friend and countryman of Dr. Wolfgang taking that position. A good overtake there from the South African, as we've got the two Red Bulls, Line and Stern at the moment, in 11th and 10th and 11th. Sorry, into the pits comes Apex Finley to serve that drive-through penalty. Will move him towards the back of the field. Hopefully we'll sort out the sound, as we've got had a bit of a problem there with the sound. South Anthony is now moved down into 8th place. There was some contact there between drivers. Just have a look at the position changes. Aidan Bell moves himself up six places in that first lap and a half from the lap 2 of 36 in these wet conditions that will soon become dry. Boosted is run wide. Dark Stomper in the Haas is moved up another position there, and we've got a big train of cars forming, a really big train actually, and a lot of drivers are still very close together. It looks like we've got Dr. Wolfgang, who is round at the back, and the yellow flag is out. We are having some problems with the audio, so I do apologise about that one. No apology needed though for Thibbo Boy with that move on Shug's Life, as we see them now run down to turn 1 into the Senna S, and Dr. Wolfgang has retired from the session. A virtual safety car has been deployed. Not too sure what actually happened there. The virtual safety car is still out, seeing that Dr. Wolfgang is on the entry to the pit lane now. Not sure how he crashed out there. Thought he'd retired in the pits, in fact, but doesn't seem to be the case. Mr. BT has got a 5-second gap to second place already. Dr. Wolfgang has now left the session. We're down to 18 drivers, still a good healthy number of drivers there, as Stinos is in second place, and we're right on board with Mr. BT. That gap is coming down now to Stinos, I think, to come out, and it does. Drive-through penalty though for Tommy VSC, and he does now come into the pits to serve that drive-through, and I think he'll put him out at the back. And I do apologise about the audio, but as I'm going to say again, there's going to be no apology here for Veloci. He's going to try and be later on the brakes. That McLaren goes down the inside. McLaren versus Ferrari, and Aidan Bowers round and hit the Aston Martin of Amir Guna, as he's going to have to get his car back on track nice and safely, as Nemvidic goes through. Warren gets himself a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. And I have to admit that this audio glitch is getting a little irritating, I have to admit. Hopefully it will sort itself out eventually, potentially. As you see him now run through the final few corners onto this start-finish straight. Looks like the rain is just stopping, is it? Just see them run up the hill towards turn 1. We're watching Lucas A. Germany and Bugs Bunny as they run down into turn 1 and 2. Looks like the rain may have stopped. No DRS, of course, just yet, but it will come a little later on. And so we'll go down to Apex Finley there, and that's a little better. We still keep losing the sound, so I am just going to have to quickly pause and unpause the game. It just seems to sort itself out, so I do apologise. That is going to have to happen a few times by the looks of things in this race, because I really can't stand the strange echo noise that seems to be going on. This is a whole new glitch. Seem to get more new glitches and new content, or fixes of former glitches. Thank you very much, EA Sports. It really is in the game. As we see Dark Stomper now coming around the final few corners. We're on the run down the hill towards Young Cow. Big lift there for the Hash driver through the left-hander. As we're back to the slight glitch there. I do have to apologise for this. As we see Bugs Bunny look to the inside at turn 1. He is after space from Lucas A. Germany. He looks like he's going to try and get a better run out of turn 2 into turn 3, Curva de Sol, and now we go down the Retro-Aposta for the 6th time, and he looks maybe to the inside, looks for the dummy, doesn't have a go though, as we've seen penalties galore now for people like Dark Stomper, Bugs Bunny and Veloce Ayub all getting 3-second time penalties. They run past the camera in the curb at turn 5 as we run up the hill of turn 6 and 7. That rain definitely is stopping. DRS is enabled. Does this mean drivers are going to pit for the soft compound of tyre? Of course, there is going to be no restrictions on pit stops or tyre strategies. You could do a soft if you really wanted to do. Probably wouldn't be the most ideal strategy, but the soft medium is definitely possible. We'll see what Mr. BT will do now. Is he going to come into the pits? He does. The first man on track is the first man to bite the bullet, and I'm sure he's going to go onto the soft tyres. He gets a 5-second penalty though for speeding in the pit lane. Stinos gets himself into the pit lane, slows it right down. They're all coming in now with that VSC deployed. Big braking force there needed by Veloce Ayub not to go into the back of Bugs Bunny there, as they all are going to double stack and all into the pits. Some drivers are going to come off better than others, as the track is already starting to dry up, and we'll have a look at what tyres everyone is going on. There is a mix-up in the strategy calls. Some drivers getting front wing changes, for example. A lot of them are going on to the soft, so Veloce Ayub is taking a massive risk on the hard tyres there. Keep an eye out for Anthony on the mediums. Oh, I said keep an eye out for Anthony on the mediums. Just as I said that Williams skated into the wall there and really did kiss the wall there. See, Bruce is the last man into the pit. Every driver is on the medium tyre, is on the soft tyre, apart from 2 medium runners and 2 hard tyres, which I didn't notice just till I said it. Mr. BC is on the hard tyres. That was an interesting call from the man. See him now run through the centre S. Mr. Puzzle gets himself a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. I'm sure Stenos is going to be catching up quite a bit. The track is already drying out as we're on lap 8 of 36. And seeing some overtakes here side by side between the Alpine and the Alpha Tauri, and the Alpine comes out on top through the curve de Sol on the R14 and into turn 4. And we're seeing that gap really close down there. We've seen Amir Guna wanting to get past Veloce, Ayub, Aston versus McLaren. Two British heavyweight car manufacturers against each other as we go into Yonkal. As we see a big snap as he gets a little bit too much on the curb. It's probably still a little bit damp on the inside of that curb. Stinos takes the fastest lap. Will have DRS on his rival ahead of him in first place on those hard tyres. Mr. VT shouldn't really fight this because this really isn't his strategy. I don't think he is going to fight it either. He's going to race smart and just let him go as he knows he's going to have to pit. And Stinos' strategy now is to try and pull away, and Mr. VT's strategy is just to hold in his DRS because that will be the biggest advantage for Mr. VT now, and give him the quickest amount of time on track, try and pull away from third place, which they are doing. Lucas A. Germany can just see them in the distance, see that puff of smoke from a lock up ahead from the Aston or the Mercedes ahead of them. The Aston Martins are looking quite good in terms of constructors' positions at the moment. As it stands, they're getting 35 points. So a big haul of points for the Aston Martin team, the old Silverstone team, the old Jordan team, of course, the original in the early 1990s. Stinos goes fastest with a 109.194. Track is certainly starting to ramp up as the sun now beams down on the Interlagos circuit in Sao Paulo, of course, being called this year the Sao Paulo Grand Prix, as it was funded by the Sao Paulo government rather than the Brazilian national government, as we got Bugs Bunny on the inside of Lucas A. Germany at the end of the Red Aposta as they went in to turn 4, as they now run through 6 up the hill and into 7 and down into turn 8, and this long left-hander of turn 9. We've got to be really patient with that throttle pedal on the exit as we run down into turn 10 and 11 and down the hill to Yonkal as Bugs Bunny goes off the track, surely gets himself a warning for a track violation there of track limits. As we run through the final couple of corners, the DRS line comes up now, and we're sure to see a move from Lucas A. Germany here. Looks like Bugs isn't going to defend to the inside, and Lucas looks like he's going to try and get a nice line through turn 2 as he wants to get on the power through the curve de Sol of turn 3. So he doesn't look like he's close enough to make an overtake just yet as he comes into the Ciudad del Lago. Run up the hill now through turn 6 and 7 again for the 11th time, really close to the back of Bugs Bunny now. Didn't try a lunge there at turn 8 as they come out of this complex of corners, and we're seeing this great helicopter shot here. See him run through towards Yonkal, the last braking zone of the lap, and now you power up the hill and make that climb to the start finish straight and back down through the centre S's to start another lap of this Interlagos circuit. Bit of weaving there from Bugs Bunny. Now he's going to defend to the inside. He knows that Ferrari is more of a threat as they're going to go side by side through turn 1 through the centre S. Looks like number 2 car is going to have the optimal line through turn 2, but Bugs Bunny was able to maintain position as they run out of Curva de Sol and down the Red Aposta. Once again, this is the fight for the final podium position. We've got the top 2 are still very close together, but this has been great racing between these 2 drivers And still super close together. Shugs Life gets himself a 3 taking time penalty. Bugs Bunny does as well. Lucas A. Germany spots a move, an opportunity for a move, but what to seize on to make this short run into the right-hander into this really off-camber corner. Really hard to get on the power on the exits. You saw that ascent up and over the crest, and then we come back down into Young Cal. One short circuit, but a lot of character here at Interlagos. And we'll see if Lucas A. Germany can characterise a move into turn 1, but no, he's going to get it done before the braking zone with absolute ease. That was taking candy from a baby by the German in the Ferrari, as we've seen over the last 20 years or so. That is a very popular decision, seeing a German in that scarlet red Italian car. Those two national anthems are synonymous with each other. Aiden Ballard in the other Ferrari looks like he's moved up a position there as Shugs Life goes through turn 1 and 2, and now round Curva de Sol. As you see Warren in the pit lane, Bugs goes through. Anthony dropped down a huge amount of positions, not doing good. The Williams team, as you said earlier on in the former live stream of qualifying. Of course, we had the sad news today to lose the great Sir Frank Williams earlier on today. He was taken into hospital on Friday and he died peacefully with his family alongside him. Of course, had this team up until the Italian Grand Prix of 2020 as Bugs Bunny retires. And that is a really strange place to crash there. That was a really strange place. The race director doesn't think a safety car is fit. The car is still there on the towards the entry of Yoncao. And we now go green once again, and we're now down to 17 drivers in this race. We lost Dr. Wolfgang very early on in lap 1. We've lost Bugs Bunny on lap 14 in this race, on lap 13. But Mr. Stinos is still in the lead, but not making the gains that he needs to keep himself in the fight for the win. But we don't know if Mr. BT is going to be able to go to the end on those hard tyres. That is going to be a tall order. But that is a great shame for Bugs Bunny, because he was having a great fight with Lucas A. Germany. See Mr. BT gets himself a time penalty again for multiple warnings. A lot of drivers with time penalties now. Turn 2 is one of those places where you can easily get yourself a penalty today. You really want to cut the corner as best as possible to get the best line out of turn 3, and on the run down towards turn 4 down the Retta Raposa, as you can see now with Veloce in the DRS window of Amir Guna, but isn't able to make up enough ground to look at potential moves into turn 4 and beyond. But is still very close behind that Aston Martin, and can quite easily see that rear wing of the Aston Martin. He gets himself a 3-second time penalty. They're getting a bit aggressive on the curbs, on the apexes. That is the crucial point of this circuit, is apex corner cuts. It really invites you to run over the whole curb and just sort of cut the track a little bit. As you see, Warren has left the session and not retired his car. So there's 1.6 seconds that separate the top two, and as you can see, it's now actually gone up to 2.2 seconds. But I think this is due to a lap car or two has boosted runs right off the circuit. There was no need for that, but he was caught in a pretty awkward position, and we got Nemvidic. It looks like he's about to be lapped now as well. And this potentially might hinder or aid Stinos here, depending on where they clear the traffic. The next bit of traffic up the road is quite a long way away. Potentially won't be able to catch up to them by the end of the race, but that's still maybe just possible. To see Stinos cross the line, he's 2.1 seconds away from Mr. BT now, but still not enough, as he's certainly going to have to stop, probably for medium tyres. Don't know if Mr. BT is going to be able to go to the end on those hard. That is looking like it's going to be quite a tall order. I'm really not too sure. But I keep having that audio issue, guys, so do apologise about that. Dr. Darkstar is in and looking like he's going to have to serve a 5-second penalty, that looks like, and goes on to the medium tyres, so he's surely now going to go to the end if there's no safety cars or BSCs in the right place for him. As we see Mr. Basil now jump into the pits, hasn't retired from the session just yet, so hasn't been able to join me, unfortunately, just like Big Weir last week. Was bitterly disappointed that Mr. Basil didn't retire from the session. Of course, we had Brazil last Tuesday for Tuesday night racing, so it's twice in 1 week for Barry, so he should be doing quite well in this race. Did very well in last week's race. I think he came 8th in Tuesday's. I think if memory is served right there. Veloce Ayub still on the coattails of Amir Guna, and looking like Amir has not got himself a very good line through turn 1, as Veloce Ayub gets himself a really bad line through turn 3, Curva de Sol, as they run down the Reta Raposta, and he's lost a huge amount of ground, and that's exactly what Amir Guna needed there. We've had some more time penalties as Shug's Life moves up a position due to Aidan Bell into the pits, who's now left the box and gone onto the soft tyres again. Can he go to the end on those? Not too sure about that. As we see him coming down the end of the pit lane, it'll potentially be quite close with Dark Stomper here, so we'll watch this as he comes out of the pit lane. And it was pretty close, but Aidan Bell stays ahead, or is able to stay ahead of Dark Stomper, who's 1.1 seconds behind. But the field isn't as close as you potentially think, but there are a lot of drivers still to make pit stops, as a lot of them went on the soft tyres when that rain stopped and the track was still a little bit wet, but obviously it's dried out significantly now. It's completely bone dry. You wouldn't even known it had rained earlier on in the race, but we will see these soft runners surely come in. They've done 11 laps. They can do a couple more. I don't think they're going to be able to do two soft runs, but potentially that's what some of these drivers are going to attempt to do. A lot of time penalties on the board now, only 2 drivers without them. One of the usual suspects is Apex Finley, as we've seen, never really ever gets any penalties. So we ride on the nose of Amir Guna, and Veloce Ayub, who's closed up that gap again, should be on the better of the 2 tyres now, as those softs are certainly going to be really worn in, and the hards are going to just start to come into a league of their own, as we see Amir Guna run wide there through Lung Cal, and as I just said a minute ago, those softs are going to be struggling. We'll see if he goes into the box. He doesn't, he stays out for another lap. All the drivers on the softs ahead of him have stayed out. Also, as we see, Boosted has retired from the session, and I think he retired in the pit lane, so there won't be any implications of safety cars or anything like that. Thibbo Boy is in the pits in the Alpine. What's he going to go on to? He has to serve a 5-second penalty. That's probably for a collision, is my guess. He's going to go on to the mediums. It seems like the wisest of calls. A lot of these soft runners now have about 12 laps. That would only now take them to about lap 23. Thibbo Boy had spun round and reset to track on track, which I think the game would have done rather than Thibbo Boy, but we are going to have to check that one out with his footage. As Veloce is now got past Amir Guna, and we'll see drivers shortly come into the pits. You see Lucas A. Germany is now into the pits, as well as Amir Guna, and obviously struggling on the soft. I'm assuming these drivers are going to go on to the medium compound now, because it's just a bit of a tall order for those softs, but Lucas A. Germany does go on the softs. And I suppose if there is obviously if there's a safety car, you can just pit again, because it's pretty much a free pit stop. But if even there's a long VSC, that's really going to aid the soft tyres, because if you do a lap and a half on the soft, that probably gives you an extra 2 or 3 laps at the end of obviously full pace once he comes out in 5th place. Amir Guna goes for the same option as well, so they're doing double soft strategy. It's going to be interesting to see what happens against the drivers on hard tyres. But I think if they're sensible, they should go onto the soft towards the end in a few laps, and they'll have the much better tyres than their rivals on the older softs. So it'll make quite an interesting end to the race. We're on lap 21 of 36 as Stinos jumps into the pits. And his car sounded like a fully electric car then, with no sound. So we're having this really strange sound glitch we've never had before in the game. Hopefully it's not just me that can hear that. But Veloce, the 2 hard runners, are now into the top 2 positions. But there's 15 seconds separating the 2 of them. Stinos now makes his way out of the pits, and Mr. PT is going to want Veloce to hold up Stinos as long as possible as they try and go to the end. I think that's the best for their race. As you see Apex coming out of the pits. We've got Aidan Powell just behind him there, and he is slotted in just behind Shug's Life. Got 2 drivers just ahead of him. Shug's Life is probably going to come into the pits. I mean, he has done 14 laps, so it is possible. And if he comes in now, he might be in a good position with his tyres. Mr. Basil goes slightly wide there, as he is going to be a lap car, and we've shown the blue flags. He's definitely got some connection issues there. See Apex now, he's going to go for a move into Young Cal. He doesn't, but he is going to get a decent exit by the looks of things on Shug's Life. So go side by side through the flat out left hand of the final corner as Shugs comes into the pits. No surprise there. Gets it stopped before the line, so it doesn't incur a penalty. It's going to be interesting to see what happens between these soft. Always, Mr. Basil is almost pushed off the circuit there. I think he's just having some connection issues, and Aidan Bow is really close on the back of Apex Smith. He doesn't go for a move into turn 4. Just 3-second time penalty there for Mr. Basil. A lot of drivers with a lot of penalties now, and I said Apex and Anthony are the 2 without, so potentially can move up some places. Apologies for the timing screens having a little mind of their own there. See, Amir Guna is going to make short work of Dazzy, and even shorter work than he thought as he dives into the pits, and he's going to go onto the soft tyres. I'm pretty sure of that for the last part of this race. As we see, Stinos has now got past Veloce Ayub and is on the hunt for Mr. BT. He's 16 seconds ahead, and it's going to be interesting with about 12 to 13 laps to go in this race if that 16 seconds can be made up. That is going to be about 1.3 seconds a lap, give or take, I think. But is Mr. BT going to pit? That's the other thing. He could pit and he will drop about 5 seconds behind Stinos, but be on fresher tyres. You see Mr. Basil is off the racetrack. Instead of having connection issues with his glorious McDonald's internet, his Warren and AI actually overtakes him as well. Oh, we see a spinner there. I think that's Aidan Bell, or is he just going slow off the circuit? It's very strange what's going on. He's got himself some wing damage and taking out the advertising boards for good measure, as the missus found that rather amusing. And seeing Tibbo Boy just behind Dark Stomper, and Dark Stomper's going to try and hold on to position, but is on slightly older medium tyres. Aidan Bell is off the circuit, and looks like we've got a Ferrari lawnmower in this race. Second time penalty for exceeding track limits for Mr. Basil there. I don't know what you're doing, buddy. You need to get yourself back on the circuit. As we see Aidan into the wall. Needs to be careful not to take himself out. We see Mr. Basil retire from the session now, and Aidan we're just watching Dark Stomper, who's had an incident in the Senna S's and got himself stuck on the curb there, or not, because he was just waiting for other drivers to get through. We've got a yellow flag in sector 3. Looks like we're back racing again. I do apologise about this sound audio, which is a real problem. It's quite ear-piercing with headphones on, I have to admit. The echoey sound, it's not very nice. You've got Veloci Ayub, who's just behind Lucas Germany. We're seeing that gap close from Stinos there. Surely the hard tyres are going to start wearing out very soon. They've done a lot of laps. As you see, Mr. Basil has joined the party.
Hello. Not the greatest of days for racing for Mr. Basil, but I hope.
Oh, I thought you did. To be fair, you did a lot better last Tuesday, mate. Did you come 8th last Tuesday?
Sixth.
Oh, 6th. Oh, there you go. I underestimated you.
I'm getting a bit of echo off you there, mind.
Okay, one sec. Is that better?
Hello. Yep, it's on.
Brilliant. So, as you can see, Barry, Stinos has got 12 seconds to gain on Mr. VT, but I'm not sure how those hard tyres are going to look in a few laps' time. He's done 21 laps on the hard tyre as Mr. BT, and they're surely going to be coming to the end of their life now.
He only needs to get him with 9 seconds though at the moment with the penalties that Mr. BT's got.
Oh, true. We haven't looked at that just yet. Yeah, oh, golly, he's got 11 seconds worth of penalties. So it's pretty much going to be a no-brainer now then if he keeps his tyres in check, Stinos, I mean.
21 on the... do you think Mr. BT is going to go the full length on the hards?
He hasn't really got a choice now, has he? That's what I would say about it. I don't think he's got much of a choice. But yeah, he's almost within that window now, isn't he? Of the penalties. He's not got long to go.
Stinos has still got what, 6 laps to go. 7 laps already on his tyres that he's got on. It's might get a bit slippy near the end.
Yeah, it definitely might get a little bit slippy. Just watching Shug's life, Barry, with Tommy, the 2 Red Bulls, fighting for the last 2 points. 2 points and 2 points positions, actually.
I can tell you them softs don't last very long on this track.
No, they are a bit. This track is a bit ruthless for tyres. How many laps have they done? 7, 8 laps. They've got 6 and a bit laps to go. I think they're going to have to pit again, these guys. The soft runners are going to. It's going to be a struggle. I mean, we might see some punctures at the end.
No, that would throw a spanner in the works, doesn't it?
It certainly would. You've seen Shug's life and Tommy fighting there, with Shugs looking like he's going to try and go down the inside at turn 6 and 7. Gets the move done there, Barry. That was a really good move there from the Red Bull driver, Shug's life there.
It was almost like watching your overtake the other day on this turn coming up now. On Tuesday.
Oh, I forgot
overtake
about that.
of the day.
That was pretty good, to be fair, if I do say so myself. I know a chef shouldn't compliment his own cooking, but...
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, for me, this one today, I mean, a lot of things. Obviously, the rain to start off, sort of threw a spanner in the works. A couple of front wing damage, and by the time I was getting lapped the second time, got a 5-second penalty for ignoring blue flags, even though I was faster than the car behind us. Quite infuriating. But it is the game we love to play, and you know, if it wasn't because of
sorry, Barry. There's a battle between the Red Bulls, and elbows out for Tommy there, and he almost got swiped in the face. Did Shug's life?
But well-controlled driving, both drivers respecting each other's space there.
Shugs almost loses the rear there through the left-hander, and 1 second.
Let's have a quick look through the rest of the pack. Doesn't seem to be many people bunched up. Quite a lot of gaps between everyone apart from the Red Bull drivers, Tommy and Shug's life. Oh, is he going to get the move done here? Oh, side by side.
Very close together there between the two of them. Still very close. I thought that might have been a bit of a Max Verstappen defence there, but it wasn't.
I think these next 3 laps are probably going to be in the... what's happened there? I was already disqualified. But these next few laps are probably going to be a few overtakes between these two, I'd say. Doc stumped on with a 3-second penalty.
But what's gonna happen between Stinos? Is Mr. BT got himself another penalty? We'll have a quick look.
No, it's still 11 seconds from Mr. BT, but I've just noticed Shug Life there has got 12 seconds to Tommy's 9. So even if it does stay like this by the end of the race, Shugs will go down a spot.
But they're both still fighting hard for position. As Tommy goes through into 9th place again. What does it is the Red Bull, his teammate, fights back and they go through the Courage de Sol and onto the R14. And that Mercedes
is Mr. BT.
Mr. BT actually is behind them, so they're going to be showing blue flags.
Ooh, this is going to really help Stinos.
It is actually, but it depends if Stinos catches up to these two before the end of the race as well, because that will then really potentially cause him some problems. As Shugs almost went for an opportunistic move there with Tommy, as they both go side by side through the long left-hander. These two
can say one thing, this is definitely not real life F1, because there wouldn't be a Red Bull battling another Red Bull. Just for sure.
No, you are right, to be fair.
Hello, Sergio, this is your race control here. Can you slow down, please, and let Max just, get in front of you a little bit?
And Stinos looks like he's going quite slowly now, and he has dropped off. Not too sure. He must be just trying to get himself to the end now.
Shugs with another 3-second penalty. They're both going to get DRS here. Neither one of them used it.
Oh, so Tommy is on the inside here. He does push Shugs off the track. But it was right on the limit of acceptability there, I think, as Tommy still stays ahead through turn 6 and 7 as we ascend up towards turn 8.
Now, if Dark Stomp can pull up a couple of more seconds in these next 2 laps, he could actually take Shug's life by the end of the race in position because of the penalties.
He's actually trying to one-lap himself at the moment, Barry. So this Red Bull fight for position, which won't be a fight for position, as we're now on the final lap, and Shugs goes to the inside again at the centre S. Bit of wheel contact, wheel contact between the two of them, as Barry would like to say, but a touchy.
Touchy. You can thank Lee for that one. That was his commentary.
Was it?
It was. Him and Jason were doing the commentary. I think, and he came up with there's a bit of touchy going on. Oh, I love it.
As you can see, Barry, it's only Anthony who's not got himself a time penalty in this race, which is some feat, to be fair, but it potentially will move him up. Actually, I don't think it will do him any help at all, unfortunately. But usually it would do that. We're just watching Mr. BT, who's just run out of Young Cal for the final time, seeing a Red Bull still fight in the background. And Mr. BT is going to take the win, and he took the win by 20 seconds in the end. Barry and Lucas A. Germany is going to come home in second. Stinos, he's got himself an issue here. Has he run out of fuel?
Has he run out of fuel? Oh!
As he's going to fall down the positions now, and
that is carnage.
Where is he going to? Is Apex going to pass him on the line here, Barry? He's still crawling around. This is going to be close. It's going to be close.
Is Veloce as well also?
I think he is going to get to the line and get that 5th place by the looks of things. He does, as Apex comes home in 6th. 7th place for Duzzy, as we see a Ferrari of Lucas A. Germany, who's crashed out after the start-finish line. Way to go out in style. You should just watch Anthony in that Williams also spin out at the end. But doesn't do himself as much damage as the Ferrari. So that not really sure what to say about that race, to be fair. It wasn't the most chaotic race of all time, and nor was it the most action-packed. It was very middle of the road, that Sao Paulo Grand Prix. But of course, got Mr. BC back on the top step as he has been quite a few times when he reserves this season. As Anthony says, it was just crap. So that's Anthony's professional and certainly direct comments. Mr. BC said takes the win for another time in LFR, and Lucas A. Germany comes in second. Ami Laguna was third, and that was a surprise podium for him. Veloce came in fourth. Fifth was Stenhouse. Sixth was Apex Finley. Dazzy was in seventh. Eighth was Anthony. Ninth is Thebo Boy. Tommy was in 10th. 11th was Shirk's Life. Dark Stomper was 12th. And then Vidic was 13th. Warren, Aiden, Mr. Basil, Boosted, Bugs Bunny and Dr. Wolfang all did not finish this race. So anyway, thank you for watching that Super Sunday race with round 14 of 17. So we're back tomorrow, and it's the first time I've ever done it. We're going to be at Imola, and first time I'm going to be commentating on Imola, so I'm quite excited for that one. And it could be, Barry, I know you don't race in it, but it could be the championship decider. Apex only needs to outscore his rivals by 11 points now to have that title in his grasp. So it might be a championship decider tomorrow, but Big Weir can potentially still cause an upset. There's still 4 drivers in it, but Stenos is still mathematically in it, but realistically isn't in it anymore. So it is really down to 3. And we'll see if Vajran and Bugs Bunny can take that title a little bit further on. So yeah, we're back tomorrow with Imola, and then you'll be with either Jason or Jason Big Weir or Broomhandle on Tuesday. We're going to go to Saudi Arabia for the first time. We're going to have Monaco, but we've scrapped that now, and we're going to go to the new Jeddah circuit. And of course, that's going to be at the end of next week as well in real life. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, and thanks Barry for joining me for that last quarter of that race. Please like and subscribe to the video. Keep subscribing and liking. I said, if you want to join the league and you've been watching, just give us a comment in the comment section below, and we'll give you a Discord link. You'll be back with me and hopefully Lee as well, because I think he's a lot better from his time away from being ill tomorrow night with the Imola race and potentially a championship decider. Anyway, thank you very much from me, and I'll see you tomorrow, and from Barry as well.
See you later.